Hey, good morning. Welcome to Brunch with Brian. We're here in a little new spot. It was raining last night, which is cool in Arizona. Today I'm going to talk about should you get an acquisitionist and when should you get an acquisitionist. We talk about acquisitionists. That's a mouthful. We didn't used to call them that. That sort of caught on about, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. Everybody started calling them acquisitionists. And I've never been crazy about that. Actually, I don't like that name. I think it's confusing. I think it's confusing to the general public. It's confusing to who you're hiring. Maybe other investors are the only people who really understand it. So I'm okay with, talking about it with other investors. But when we are actually hiring someone, we don't call them an acquisitionist. We call them a real estate associate. So we're hiring real estate associates. Sometimes if we're doing remote deals far away, we call them a local associate. Either one, real estate associate, local associate. That's when we need somebody local and we're far away. And I like that word local in there so they know what their job is. They're handling everything for us locally. So, and I want you to think about, do I actually hire an acquisitionist and have some help on my team before I even do my first deal? Should I hire an assistant? I mean, let's face it, when most businesses start, Lynette was actually hired when she was 25 to run an El Pollo Loco. And if you don't know what that is, it's called the Crazy Chicken. It's a really great restaurant, and she was hired by these two guys it was just two guys buying a restaurant, a franchise, and they had a dirt lot, and they paid for the franchise. And then they hired Lynette, and she had to hire the whole crew, and she had to hire about 50 or 60 people before they could even open their doors. So now in real estate investing, you don't necessarily think, well, I got to staff up to do business when you're starting your business. In fact, a lot of times people are pretty much lone wolves and going it their own way, hopefully with some good training. Otherwise, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So if you're a lone wolf out there, keep listening to me and Lynette and following us so that you get smart about how to do this properly. Now, sometimes people ask me, and if you're hiring somebody, I want you to call them an associate. And you guys know probably that we have a whole system on this called basically real acquisitionist in a box, we call it. And this is a whole system on how to hire, train, and I just got done revising this whole system. And in fact, if you have the acquisitionist system right now and you have that coded access where you can go on ourwolfpack.com, probably within the next 2 or 3 days, it's going to be a big revision up there. So I want you to actually go in there and you can print the pages off and stick them in your manual. And it's got tabs already. The tabs don't change, but I did go through and rewrite a lot of the sections just recently. I'm updating everything for 2021. And so, guys, I want you to think about why would you hire an acquisitionist before you do your first deal. So if you get going and you're doing deals and you've done 2 or 3 deals and you've got a little bit of cash and you've got some kind of systemization where you're finding deals and processing them through, why wait? Hire somebody early. Having another person. If that person helps you do one more deal a month, they pay way more than their salary. Way more than what you're going to pay them. So, if you are starting your machine and your machine is starting to run, I say get an acquisitionist as soon as you can. That's your big level up. That's when other people are doing the work and you're getting paid. So that's the smart way of delegation. The less I do, the more I make. So getting it delegated to an acquisitionist. So that is obvious when you're doing deals and things are starting to thrive that you want to make that move. But what about, should I even think about hiring an acquisitionist before I even do my first deal? I will tell you guys that they didn't call them acquisitionists then, and I hired Melissa. Melissa, she'd only ever worked at Target, and she was really more of an assistant. So think about this. I will tell you some reasons why I would consider hiring somebody before you even do your first deal. If you are already a business owner and you are relatively used to hiring people, if you have some kind of good knowledge of how to, get resumes and have them come in and talk to them and see if they're good and hire them and all that process, if you're already an entrepreneur, I would probably tell you to go ahead and hire somebody right away. Also, if you've got some money now, remember, guys, me and Lynette went through some rough times. There was times when I was a security guard and she was a waitress at California Pizza Kitchen, and we're counting out crumpled tips on the bed to see if we can take the kids to McDonald's. And that really happened, guys. I mean, that's not made up stuff. That really happened. And so we went through some rough times, but when we found Ron and we were starting our business, we were doing pretty well. We were both in real estate in other capacities. Lynette was selling new homes and I was running a mortgage office. And so we really wanted our life back, and a way to make that much money, six-figure incomes, replace two six-figure incomes without killing ourselves anymore. And so that's really what the big change was when we met Ron. Now, we had money in the beginning. Like, now some of you guys don't have a lot of money right now and you're getting into this to build your nest egg up. If you do have a little capital investment money for this, you could just hire somebody right away like I did. I knew it would help me stay focused. I knew if I was paying her 40 hours a week, and she was just $10 an hour, I think we paid her. And so it wasn't going to break the bank. And we hired her just off an ad. We didn't know her. If you know somebody who you think is good on the phone already, that's a big plus. You're already, somewhat there. But you could, try somebody out like that as a FSBO caller and then groom them up into an acquisitionist. Eventually, an acquisitionist, like I said, it's a mouthful. They're going to be doing closing calls for you and deal meetings for you. So the other reason is if you know you're never going to do it. Okay, if you know you're never going to get on the phone, you know what this takes. This business takes you getting on the phone or somebody getting on the phone, not you necessarily. It takes somebody getting on the phone, talking to sellers, setting up appointments, going out on those appointments or doing them virtually, getting the paperwork filled out, and doing the whole schlemiel. So that's a lot of stuff to do, and you're going to hire this person to help you. So those three things. If you're already an entrepreneur with a business and you're used to hiring people, and maybe even you have an office that you could stick them in or something like that. We had a guy who was a doctor in San Diego, and he got our acquisitionist package, and he hired somebody right away, and he knew he wasn't going to do it. He was busy being a doctor, and he knew he didn't want to start making all these calls, and he didn't want to have to do all that. So he hired somebody right away. Fortunately, he got someone good, and they're making more. He told me that they're making more sometimes that one associate acquisitionist than his practice makes in profit that month, because that's, houses are very expensive out there. So you guys can think about, so if you're an entrepreneur already, if you have a lot of extra cash, not a lot, but if you have good capital investment, this doesn't take a lot. You're going to spend some money on your education, getting trained, and then other than that, it's not like you're buying a bunch of inventory. So if you do have cash to use in the beginning to speed up your progress, I'd say really consider seriously hiring somebody right from the get-go. They'll keep you focused, they'll make sure your business is moving forward, and something's going to be happening. So I like that. And the third thing is, if you just know you're never going to do it, and if you just can't stand the calls, or you're just scared of the calls, or you know you're never going to be able to make them because your schedule is just too whacked out, hectic, that's another reason to consider hiring someone before you even do your first deal. So my thinking on this whole acquisitionist thing is, after you've done 2 or 3 deals and you got your machine sort of going, there's no reason not to get somebody on board to help you. And even before you do your first deal, if one of those 3 conditions apply, either 1, you already are an entrepreneur with businesses and you're used to hiring and working with employees. Number 2, you have some good capital investment money, and you realize there's no reason why not to get somebody right away, and it'll help you stay focused. And number 3 is if you just know you can't do it. You just physically are not going to be able to do it. And I will tell you that we've had some students who had some good money coming into this, but they had like a really thick accent. And it was a really, really thick accent can be a stumbling block, can be an obstacle on the phone. And so that may be another reason to get somebody on board right away to help with the calls. So today on Teaching Tuesdays, I'm even going to go more in depth, guys. I'm going to drill down on why and when to hire an acquisitionist. I'm going to get into the numbers of how much you should pay them. how much you should pay an assistant, and how that whole process works of getting someone first as a FSBO caller, grooming them into an acquisitionist, and how I want you to work to pay along the way. So I'm really going to get into some good nitty-gritty stuff on this. I want you to be on that, obviously. So that's 7 o'clock p.m. today, Tuesday, at Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So we'll see you on that. And always, guys, don't ever miss the Teaching Tuesdays. They're always so good and so helpful. And so we always do the Teaching Tuesdays and these great Brunch with Brian's. So I will see you later on today on our Teaching Tuesday. Come here, baby. He wants to say hi. That's Saturn. And so we'll see you on our Teaching Tuesday a little bit later today. And then always right back here in the mornings for Brunch with Brian. This was a good one today. We got to do our deep breathing. Okay, Sadie, are you ready? You ready? Deep breath in. Hold it a sec and let it out. Okay, 2 more. Remember, this is your chance to relax and reset your body, loosen up a little bit. Hold it a little bit. And don't forget to smile. Lots of smiles every day. We love to smile. It really changes your whole attitude and your mindset. So guys, until I see you a little bit later today on Teaching Tuesdays, and then always back here on Brunch with Brian's, keep expecting success, getting awesome training, and taking action. Right, Sadie?